In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the legendary Bathmate. I've had this bad boy for over 3 years. I've used it quite a bit. I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on it. Some say that it's the best in the world. Others say that it's an absolute scam. What are my thoughts and opinions on it? Well, I'm going to be doing a deep review on it. I'm going to go through some of the technical specifications of it, why water is better than air, some safety tips, and more. It's going to be a quick review, but it's going to be very informative. So let's get started. Okay, so first let's get started as to what is the Bathmate. I think this is probably unnecessary for a lot of you people, but we'll do a quick review. So first of all, it's a water pump. You essentially put water in it, and that's how you use it. It's one of the most popular, if not the most popular, penis pump out there. And there's actually a reason for that, which I'll go into it later. Now, the Bathmate actually comes in 3 models. One's called the Hydro Max, and the Hydro Max Xtreme. And let's actually look at them real quick. So the Hydro, it's essentially its lowest power pump. It has a range of 5 to 7 inches. So this one only comes in one size, and it's designed for guys that have 5 to 7 inches of erect length, and it's $109. Then you have the Hydro Max series, and that actually starts with the Hydro Max 3. And actually the size is only up to 3 inches. So if you have a micro penis, you can use this to gain girth. I mean, I think if you have a micro penis, you should probably start off with traction. I think that should be your main concern, not girth. But yeah, this one, the Hydro Max, is a little bit more powerful, as you can see, than the Hydro. It starts off at $129 and goes up to $199. So you have the Hydro Max 5, which is up to 5 inches, the Hydro Max 7 up to 7 inches, the Hydro Max 7Y, which is 7 inches, but if you're more girthy, and then the Hydro Max 9, which is up to 9 inches. And then we have the Hydro Max Xtreme. So this one again goes up to from 3, has 3, 5, 7, 7 wide, 9, and actually has a one that goes up to 11 inches for those BBCs out there. And this one has the most power, and I'll go through some of the technical specifications in a little bit. But the only difference between the Hydro Max and the Hydro Xtreme is that it has this little hand pump, and with the little hand pump you can actually achieve higher pressures. And which one should you get? Well, I'll go through that right now. Okay, so I'll discuss a little bit as to which one you should get. I'll go ahead and start off with the one that I did get. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that one. So this is the Hydro Xtreme 9. As you saw from the description, this one goes up to 9 inches. It's composed of the cylinder. It has this this part here, this plastic part, which compresses, and it has this little like ring here. This is like a comfort ring here. It's supposed to make it more comfortable. It's arguable whether it does or it doesn't. I think it kind of does, but it's, in general, I don't think it's the most comfortable pump out there. So essentially, you fill it up with hot water. And then you put it against your pelvis, and you push it, and when you push it, it expels the water from here. And essentially, it has like a little valve, so you lock it into place, and that way it's a one-way, so that when the water comes out, you're not losing pressure inside. I also bought the Hydro Vibe, which is like this little accessory that you attach on it. I'll be actually reviewing that separately. So I want to touch a little bit on the history of the Bathmate and why is it so popular and why is it so controversial. So first of all, I don't know how true this is, but according to Leo from Leo Longevity, RIP, he said that that the Bathmate was actually originally the idea of somebody from the Thunder's Place. And this person posted an idea as to how to make an air pump more effective by using water, and what the theory was behind that. And one of the other users from Bathmate actually stole the idea and created a company, and that was called Bathmate. So essentially, there's some controversy that it was essentially stolen, and the original inventor didn't get any of the proceeds, and they don't get profits or anything like that. Now, the reason that I became very popular is because it had a very good affiliate marketing campaign. So it got popularized by people like Good Looking Loser. He was probably one of the kings in making the Bathmate relevant. It's been mentioned before by people like Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And that's what has made it so popular and so controversial. Next, I want to touch a little bit as to water versus air pumping. So one of the main advantages of using water is that water doesn't compress. So when you're using a water with a penis pump, you're actually inducing the same even pressure around the entire penis. So there is no loss of compression when you're applying the pressure into it. It's actually evenly applied to the entire penis. And also it's very consistent as to the amount of pressure that you're applying, because again, water does not compress, whereas air does compress. So which is kind of a good and a bad thing, because at least with air, I would say it's a slightly safer, because when you apply the vacuum, it takes a little bit of time to actually build up that pressure, the actual pressure that sits on the gauge. Whereas with water, is basically immediate, that you're at that pressure when you start pumping the water pump. Also, another cool thing is that when you're using water, this gives you a little very cool point of view. So it's kind of like you're looking at it, it looks absolutely fucking thick as fuck when you're looking at your dick through the water. It's a nice, cool little optical illusion that you can see. But that's all it is. It's just an optical illusion. Next, I want to touch a little bit on the Bathmate survey. So unfortunately, there's no scientific studies for the Bathmate, in spite of how popular it is. But they did release a survey, so we can kind of gauge the efficacy of the Bathmate through the survey to some degree. So let's see. Okay, so basically back in 2020, a survey was sent out to 12,000 Bathmate customers. They asked her what the Bathmate did for them. They said that after 2 months of use, 81% of people reported either longer or better erections, which is actually, goes in line with a lot of the literature, in that using a penis pump actually improves erectile quality. As far as length, I think that's arguable based on the studies and based on anecdotal evidence. Pumping can marginally improve girth, but I think there's something to the Bathmate that actually makes the results even better than traditional air pumping. And it can be a good or a bad thing, and I'll go into what I think the secret is. But that's for girth. For length, I don't think even the Bathmate is going to significantly improve length. So some of the things here, after 2 months, only after 2 months, 92.9% of the Hydro Xtreme, which is the one that I have, users reported noticeably better erections, while 80% of the Hydromax users, which is the lower one, ended up with either better, longer, or both. That's why they have a satisfaction there guaranteed and a complete refund, which is great. I think that's good. Like, if you don't like it, you can always return it. So, they have a little bit of data to back it up. I don't think they would make this stuff up. I think they just kind of shine it in the best light. Now, anecdotally, I do think that the Bathmate is effective. From my own results, it's difficult to say because I did use the Bathmate, but I also use a lot of air pumping, and I'll go a little bit into my own routine and history in a little bit. But I wanted to go a little bit through the Bathmate survey real quick. Okay, next I want to touch a little bit on the technicals. So I want to give a lot of credit to Hank from Reddit/r/gettingbigger. I'm going to link his channel below. Make sure you subscribe. But he basically went ahead and found out this information. So essentially, it's difficult to say, because one of the things that I don't like about the Bathmate pumps is that there is no built-in gauge. So you cannot know exactly how much you're applying. And also the vacuum pressures underwater is different than under air. So it took a little bit of work for Hank to actually figure this out. But it turns out that for the Hydro, which is the lower model, the maximum that you can go up to is 10.47 Hg of vacuum pressure. Negative vacuum pressure on the Hydro. Now the Hydro Max, which is the next model, you can go up to 13.46 Hg. And for the Hydromax Xtreme, which is the one that I have with the pump, and this is the pump. You basically just kind of attach it, you pump it, and you can suck out more air. You actually go up to 16.4 Hg. Now, if you've been around the community, if you've seen my video on pumping, I only recommend to be going up to 10 Hg. And I think that's why a lot of people say that you don't really get results from air pumping, at least not permanent results. So I think there's something to say about going to such high pressures, because in the community we only recommend really that you go up to 10 Hg. In the literature for Peyronie's, the sweet spot is about 5 to 7 Hg. But here we see that the Bathmate, the Hydro Bathmate, the Hydromax Xtreme actually goes to 16.4, which is like 60% over, a little bit over 60% over what we usually recommend in the community. So I'll get into a little bit more of that into my actual review. Okay, so let's actually go into the review. So first, I do like the packaging that they give me. It's really cool. Like they give you this, this little case here, which is really nice. It's nice and solid. I essentially keep this in a one of the cabinets of my bathroom. It has this little hose, so you can use the hose to use the pump, or you can just attach the pump directly. I usually just attach it directly here. Boom. It's very easy. They give you a little cleaning scrub. It's really nice. But you're in the water most of the time anyway, so it stays relatively clean. But as I mentioned in my other pumping videos, you want to make sure that you're keeping it nice and clean, so you don't want to develop any bacteria. They give you like a little strap that you can use. They give you like this cleaning mist that you can use to clean it up and sanitize it. So all in all, I think the package is really well. I think it's still a little bit expensive. So for the Hydromax Xtreme, I paid like $350, and that's not including shipping, so it's very expensive. Whereas if you look at my other pump videos, the ones that I recommend, which is the Love, it's only about like 125. With shipping, it might be like a little bit over 130. So less than half of this Bathmate. So I think that one of the first con is the price. It's just a little bit too pricey for what it is. Again, it's very high quality and does have a high, has a very good warranty, so you can always get it fixed, actually return it. Has a satisfaction guarantee, so you can always return it. Another thing that I don't like is it's actually very comfortable. This hole here is very big, and it's very easy for your scrotum to get pulled in. And when it does, it's actually very painful. What they recommend for you to do is you hold down your scrotum as you're doing this motion when you're pumping it. But it still is very uncomfortable because this hole is just way too big. As you saw in my other pump video, I recommend using a penis sleeve to sort of create like a more snug fit here, even if you have a slightly oversized cylinder. Second of all, as I mentioned, I think it's extremely dangerous. So if you're using the Hydromax Xtreme, let's say that you're a beginner and you're a noob, and you were just absolutely the first time, your penis is not conditioned to be able to handle such high vacuum pressures, right? So you're going from like 0 to 200 in the first time. Imagine, and then you add this, and so you're going to 16.4 Hg. There's no wonder why there's a lot of guys that get injured from using like the Bathmate, right? And that is why you need to be extremely careful not to go all out, right? So I think one of the biggest cons, I think, is extremely dangerous. Furthermore, by using the water, when you apply the vacuum pressure, that applies to your penis. It's like an immediate change of force within the chamber, the cylinder here, and so that can be very dangerous and can cause injuries to guys, like hard flaccid and just all kinds of potential issues to the penis. So I think that's the biggest con, is you have to actually be very careful with it. Another con is that the measurement is off. Like when you're using this comfort pad, it doesn't really line up to the measurement here. And I'm not talking like a little bit, I'm saying like it's way off. So here, see if I can visualize it for you guys, right? So you can see the numbers there. I'm gonna have a ruler here, and I'm just like it's as flush as it can be. Notice like where it says 12 on the Bathmate is actually like around 15 in the ruler. So it's just way off, so you can't really use this as any sort of measurement. Even without this, it's still off. Like I think the measurement is just way off. Another problem that I have personally is in order to get the best results with this, and just really any pump, is that you have to go into it erect. And so you know, for me, when I'm in the shower, I usually typically don't masturbate. I'm not there getting erect, right? Like I'm just scared, like it's comfortable, but I'm not really in the mood and comfortable. So you know, I'll take maybe a little Cialis or L-citrulline, and that'll get me a little bit harder, and I can, you know, I can stay, but it's just not as easy as like me just sitting down right here on my bed or on my seat and putting a little bit of porn on or whatever, like a sexy movie or something, and then just being able to just, I can stay hard way easier when I'm not in the shower, and that makes it way more effective, at least for me, to use like an air pump, because A, it's more comfortable, I'm not standing up, and B, I can actually watch porn and stay hard. So this may not be like a problem for you, but for me personally, it's just a little bit tougher just to like stay erect when I'm not being like stimulated, and that's probably like my own personal problems. But like yeah, I personally need to see like a hot chick or something, otherwise my mind will just start wandering, and I'll just kind of not really stay erect. So I think that's another con. Another con is that it causes way too much edema. So so even if you're following the program, I believe it's like, you know, 5 minutes, you take a little break, another 5 minutes, you take a little break, another 5 minutes. It might be 3 minutes. Just double check the manual. I don't remember off the top of my head. I do 5 minutes when I do it, so which is, you know, just my own. But even when I was doing like slower, like when I was actually following this thing, it creates way too much edema. And I'm saying like it's like way noticeable. So if you're hoping to like get laid right after you use it, or maybe even an hour, like it's like a girl's gonna notice that you did something. Like you can see if you have foreskin especially, it's gonna be very, very inflamed. There's gonna be a lot of edema. What I do is I'll throw in one of these sleeves. There's like an LG hanger sleeve or a Toroman sleeve, you know, cut a little piece, throw it on top just to make sure that the edema goes away. But then it goes away too much, and that's kind of like defeats the purpose, right? Like I want to use the pump to impress the girl, to make my penis nice and girthy, even if it's like temporary. Over the time, it becomes more permanent. But you know, one of the advantages, I want to at least get it girthy enough so I can impress the girl that I'm having sex with. So I think it's just too much edema for me to use before sex, or like even 1 or 2 hours before sex. I think that's a huge problem. Whereas with an air pump, I can much better control the amount of edema. Also, I like to use pulse pumping, and I don't know, I have another video on that specifically, but that minimizes edema, maximizes results, and improves erectile quality because you're mimicking like nighttime erections. So this is like that's the best way to pump in my opinion. So those are all the cons. Now let's go through the pros and let's see what you think about that. So first of all, I think it's very easy to use, schedule, and multitask. So if you're a busy person and don't have like 30 minutes to sit down, you know, put on a porn movie and pump, you just want to shower, you know, I think this is great. For me, I shower quick. I'm just in and out. Like I don't want to be wasting water, wasting a lot of time in the shower. Whereas when I'm pumping, personally, this is my personal routine. I'm pumping when I'm sitting down. I can multitask. I can be like on Tinder, swiping, or messaging, or whatever. But yeah, it's you know, I think it's just you know, if your schedule is a little bit busier or you just can't do that, then it's a nice way to multitask. It does give you good temporary girth, but again, I think it's a little bit too much of the edema. But after the edema goes away, it actually is nice and plump. And I think in my opinion, it does give you good permanent gains. So I think it's something I'm going to start experimenting a little bit more on myself. It's going to those higher pressures, at least like 13, 14 in my own like air pumping. I don't recommend you do this. Stick with the protocol that I've given before, which is the 10 Hg maximum. That's what I've done for a long time. It has given me good results, but I want to see if I can maximize the results. And I think that's part of the secret sauce of why the Bathmate can actually give you good permanent results. And there you go. That was a quick little review on the Bathmate. You know, I think it has its pros and cons. If you can afford it, if you want to explore it, go ahead and buy it. You know, personally, I would still recommend an air pump. But hey, that's just my, you know, as they say, like my opinion, man. But hey, if you want to support this channel, you want to watch more of my reviews, you want me to review other products, let me know what I should review down below. If you like the Bathmate, let me know. Go ahead and put that below also. And help support this channel by hitting that subscribe button below. Make sure you check out these other videos which are relevant to you, and stay tuned for more content. Peace.